There was a video that was released yesterday by police activity, and police activity. It's just the bare knuckle brawl. It's just the bare roots. It's only the police dash cam. It's only the body cam. It's only what is being not reported on, but what has actually happened. It's a phenomenal channel that I've been subscribed to for I think a few years now. I think I was they're at 3.3 million subscribers. I think I've been a subscriber to them when they were about 100,000 subscribers. Like I've been watching their videos for quite some time. And there was a video that was recently posted about the title of saying body cam footage of Maricopa. Apologize if I'm mispronouncing that. Police shooting man holding a vape pen. And the issue that I have with this is that if we go to the comment section, let's zoom in and just read some of the comments down below because some of them are just ridiculous. I have mine, but one person says the female officer definitely and quite literally jumped the gun on that one. Non-lethal should have been the first option, unless the perp definitively had something to cause serious harm against them. Okay, 2,000 likes on that one. Wow, I love this channel. Holy S. Holy poopy. If that officer mishandled the situation that very, very clearly called for non-lethal as primary, what else has she been doing wrong? The female officer clearly doesn't have what it takes to be a cop. Hands up, no weapon, back up right there, and it's still just too scary for her. So she panicked and shoots. Another person, I'm pro-police all day long, but this lady cop completely handled the situation the wrong way. You have less you have less lethal to the right. You have less lethal to the right of you. Less lethal to the, okay. And I honestly, and I honestly didn't even see the guy make a move that would justify using lethal force and shoot 4 to 5 times. See, it's just like there's comment section after comment of like 1.4 thousand likes with this one saying she was in over her head. Even with backup, she is incapable of enforcing the law. Comment after comment after comment of just berating. Like here's one that I remember reading. His hands were up, and I know damn well that that vape battery looked nothing like a weapon, especially from the officer's distance. The thing that's so demonstrable or so monstrable, I don't know which word you want to use, so much of an issue about this one case in particular, the event that we are seeing here in this video, is that so many people are focused on the vape pen. Every single person in the comment section is demonstrably incorrect. I am drawing a line in the sand. Every single person in the comment section that is in support of going against the female officer in this case and is for the perp, if you will, for the person that did get shot, they are all idiots. I am declaring that definitively. We are going to go second by second looking at every single factor that possibly could have actually influenced this. It is a shame that society really believes that, you know what, this one factor triumphs all the other factors. Why does it? For example, if somebody is holding a vape pen, what does that have anything to do with whether or not they have their pants down and they're shaking it in front of a child? Well, they have a vape pen in their hand. They must be non-lethal. Non-lethal should have been the case. It's like, no. They were doing a bad act to a child. That's the bad act. It's not the vape pen. And people are saying that his hands were up. His hands were up doesn't allow him or dismiss the bad actions that he was doing. For example, if I am driving and I have my seatbelt on, I drive past 3 red lights. I get pulled over, and then I start berating the officer. I have my seatbelt on. How dare you pull me over? Like, it's not that you were having your seatbelt on, you blew past 3 red lights. But I had my seatbelt on. It's the same act when you are dealing with a police officer. It doesn't necessarily matter that you have your hands up. What other factors are being influenced into the decisions that are being made? Let's go section by section. Now, I do apologize in advance. You may not be able to hear the audio because the way that I have my setup, it's very poor. but we can at least see what is going on. The audio emphasizes a lot of things that is happening, and you can watch the original audio, the original time. It's at 4:56 is when we're going to begin. On the video, I'll link the video down below, and at 4:56, we're going to listen to every single thing that happens. Now, I'm going to try to emphasize on the visuals because my setup really doesn't support audio all too well, unless there's a consistent audio that is happening. It's just the way that it's happening, so I do apologize. But let's watch the video.
Hey, stop! Back up! Back up! Back up! Back up! Doing this. Hey! Shots fired.
Okay, shots fired. Now, your initial reaction might be, he wasn't doing anything violent against her. Why in the hell did she do what it is that she did? For everybody out there who is so, I would say, ignorant for making a bold decision about this, and everybody out there, let me make it very certain and very clear. I'm against the majority or the overemphasis of female officers being recruited into the force. I'm not against a female officer being in the force, but biology is a very strong factor in that, and the psychology of a woman versus a man. Big difference. So, again, you're not good just because you're a man in the force. I care about competent people. That's why, yes, women should be in the military per se. Not because we need to have more quota. I want competent people with competent structures going towards a good and moral position. So if you're a man or a woman, I don't care. What we found in reality that men often are in a position where they can have authority and command much more effectively than women in those certain positions. Doesn't mean that you are bad because you are a woman. It doesn't mean that you're good because you are a man. I don't know why this is such a difficult thing for people to really grasp their head around, but let's watch this video again. And I'm going to I'm going to repeat everything that's happening with the audio, just because my recording software is not picking up the audio for some reason. I've tried this multiple times, but it's just not as much. I'm going to go through it, and we're going to go step by step. We've seen it firsthand. Let's go bit by bit. If you did not hear, the guy who got shot said, "Come on, let's do this," to the other officer. The guy just said, "My hands are up." Okay, that's important because we can see that as well. But let's also continue to listen and to watch about what happens. What did this officer just say? Stop. Back up. Let me repeat that again. This officer, the second officer, said stop, back up. So if somebody is pointing a weapon at you and they say to you, stop, back up, and your reaction or choice in the matter is throwing your hands up and walking towards them, literally quite the opposite, with them having a gun pointed at you, it doesn't mean that you're a moral person who you're deserving of a bullet. But cause and effect reality would deem this appropriate of you being deserving of a bullet. It's like if you put a fork in an electrical socket, it doesn't mean that, well, you did your evil action. No. Cause and effect relationship what's going on here. You put a fork in an electrical socket and you got shocked. Your heart stopped, you had to be sent to the emergency room. And then now you have a bill of what, $5,000, $10,000? And then you bitch, whine, and moan and complain about that? I'm sorry, who just put their fork in an electrical socket? You did. So what we will see here in a second is a guy walking towards a person with us holding a gun at them, telling the person who's about to be shot to back up. Stop, back up, while the person with the gun is actually being the one that's walking backwards. So let's watch that. So she cusses a few times, saying, "Get away from me. Back up, back up, back up." wait a second here. If she wasn't a cop, what would the scenario be? A man with his hands raised walks towards a woman with a gun who's backing up away from the situation, warning him, back up, back up. If you ever see somebody who's backing up away from the situation, you understand intuitively what that means. Every single person out here intuitively understands what that means. For example, it's an example that I love to give. If you have three people talking about whether or not there's reality by discussing, and this has actually happened with Cosmic Skeptic, a YouTuber on this platform. What they did is that they filled a glass of water halfway. They put it on the table, and then they discussed about reality. They discussed whether or not the water was actually there, whether or not we can measure it, how much we can measure, what the references are, and they just went on about an hour and a half, maybe at least an hour and 10 minutes of just discussing these type of meta truths. Or meta questions, I wouldn't say truth, but meta questions, things that really contemplate and ponder on. You and I both know how stupid that is, because when we replace the water glass and we replace it with a grenade, we pull the pin, we walk away. The people who are continuing to discuss of whether or not that grenade is real, they're idiots. Wouldn't that be Darwin's theory of evolution? Which one is it? The of survival of the fittest? The ones who are still contemplating as to whether or not something is real will die. You know to put on a jacket when you go outside because it's cold. You understand what cold and hot is. You know intuitively what reality is. But in this scenario, everybody in the comment section is because the fact that she or harmed the guy at least, I don't know if he died, don't care. The guy was in the wrong. Somebody has a gun pointed at you, what's your move? Slowly and tauntingly talking to the person, going towards them while they're backing up. Hey, get away from me, get away from me. Get away from me. What's your response when somebody is literally trying to remove themselves from the situation? Oh, we'll hear that in a bit with this guy. He says, let's do this. The guy who's about to get shot is walking towards the officer with a gun pointed at him while she herself is backing up from the scenario. He said, let's do this. It's one of those scenarios in which you start taunting somebody. Hey, hit me. Hit me, guy, hit me. Well, they hit you. It's like, hey, yeah, let's do this. You are saying that to somebody who has a gun pointed at you. This guy deserves, not morally or immorally, if you will, deserves cause and effect reality to be shot. Because he taunted a person with a gun, pointed at him, walking towards them so the bullets can get into his body faster for some reason, while the person with the gun was avoiding the scenario, backing up away themselves. Any single person who would defend him in this scenario, you're a fool. Do you not realize that the woman is backing up from the scenario? What if she wasn't an officer? What if she wasn't? The guy is the aggressor, but because she has the badge, therefore, you should have done X, Y, and Z. Should have, yes. Hindsight 2020. In the scenario, did you not know that there is at least one body cam out there with a man wrestling another officer who's a man and takes his gun and shoots the officer, runs away with the gun, and commits another crime, harming other people in the process? If there is at least one body cam that does that, the requirement that somebody who is defying your commands, who's coming towards you, even though you have a gun pointed at them, what would they do? It does. Anybody who's focused on the vape pen, that the title literally says body cam footage of police shooting a man holding a vape pen. If any single person is defending this because of the vape pen, Did you not see the walking? Did you not hear the taunting? Did you not see the officer walk away? Did you not hear the officer's body cam that we're looking at say to the man, stop, back up? And then the guy continues to say no. Oh, but it should have been nonviolent. If the man got to her, what would have happened? Why? Let me tell you, why is the man getting closer to the officer? Every single person out there that is trying to defend him, oh my gosh, you're a fool. Why is this man walking towards an officer with a gun pointed at him? See, anybody out there is like, oh, wait a second. That sounds suspicious. And yet everybody in the comment section, she's a bitch, she's a horrible person. Officer, no, fire her, she's wrong. What do you mean? In this scenario, if you flip it with a woman coming at an officer who he himself was backing up saying, back up, stop, back up, with a gun pointed at her, and she had her hands up with a vape pen and kept walking towards him and continued to taunt him. Oh, she's drugged up. It's like, what do you mean? The scenario is which direction? It's like, which way do you swing?
Back up.
Both of these officers, within the span of half of a second, just said, back up. Again. How many times in this short 45 seconds, 30 to 45 second moment, said to the man, back up? How many times? Enough? Is 1 enough? Is 3 enough? Is 7 enough? In this scenario, the guy just said, I'm doing this. Does this man sound like he's in a, he sounds like he's about to aggress against it. Like, I'm doing this. Doing what? You're walking towards an officer that's having a gun aimed at you. If it was a gang member, you wouldn't be doing what you're doing because you would understand that there's somebody with a gun that could shoot you. But you know they're an officer, so they won't do it. Well, they did it. So I feel bad that he got shot in the first place because he's made in the image of God. If he wasn't, he's a random bag of meat, and I'm sorry. Why? Because you're a bad human being if you don't accept that. It's like, okay. This is why we start with base root values. We start with certain values that are objectively true. If they're not true, well then what is truth? What is morality? And by whose authority do we follow them? It's very important that we stay true, not to somebody said it, therefore that's why. The literal God of the universe said, hey, love neighbor. Was what the guy did loving neighbor? What was it? Why was he walking towards a person that had a gun on her, pointed at him? She was backing up from the situation. He continued to pursue it. Well, she shouldn't have a gun. Why not? She's a smaller woman. He's a larger man, and a gun is a great equalizer between power. A person who could have done something if he got closer. Why was he walking towards the officer? Why in the world was the man walking towards an officer that had a gun trained on him? Because he knew that he wouldn't get shot? So that's like walking on the side of a bridge, balancing on the railing, and then when you fall over, everybody around says, wow, the government's wrong because they should have had, safety lines or something on the bridge. It's like, why were you over the edge? Why were you... Did you know, one side's safety, the other side is certain death? It's like, I'm sorry you fell. But at the same time, cause and effect. I'm sorry that it happened. But cause and effect happens. It's not morally good that the man died, I think. I think he died. I don't know. Again, him getting shot in the first place. But he provoked her. That's like poking the bear and then shooting the bear after the bear attacks you. It's like, the bear shouldn't have attacked me. It's like, but you were poking the bear. You had a stick and you were poking it. And when the bear started to attack you, you shot it because it was attacking you. You can't. Why are you blaming the bear? It's like, the bear's a bear. A man's a man, a woman is a woman. It's like, there's certain truths in this reality, in this life. And it's fascinating. I just don't get it. Anybody in the comment section who's in support or thinking this of an unjustified shooting, what if you did his actions? Let's think about that for a second. If you were in his shoes, well, he's barefooted. So you're barefoot in the middle of the street, walking towards an officer with a gun. Oh, his hands were up. Oh, I know, I had my seatbelt in. That's why I went on side of the sidewalk and started running over pedestrians. Boop, boop. Oh, that's another point. Yay, I'm winning. Boop, boop. I have my seatbelt in, therefore I'm justified. No, there's a bunch of other factors and a bunch of other things that were happening that were actually part of the incident. What if his hands were not raised? Oh, then everything changes? If he had a gun in his hand, yeah, that would also change. But the base root is that he was going towards a person with a gun who was saying, back up, back up. They themselves were backing up. He continued to pursue the person with the gun. He must have been an idiot. Like, wow, we are all stupid, aren't we? So anybody out there that's saying like, oh, he's an unjustified shooting, I'm sorry, you have the right to vote to tell other people whether or not they can and cannot do things in society and believe any and all things can be whatever it is that you want. If this is your position for anybody out there who think that this is an unjustified shooting, I'm sorry you exist because you're influencing other people with certain values that suck, apparently. Can you not understand walking towards a person with a gun? What if the man was walking toward, again, what if the man was the president? Let me say it this way. What if he was a president that we liked? Okay. Let's say Elon Musk. What if this man was Elon Musk and he was walking towards a person who had a gun up at them, and the guy or the woman was backing up still, saying, get back, get back, get back, and Elon Musk kept walking towards her. He hardly gets shot. Why are you walking towards a person who has a gun aimed at you when they themselves are backing up from the situation and telling you to back up? I mean, you could say that, oh, she might have a mental disorder for pulling on a gun on a civilian if they were not an officer. But why in the world would you ever walk towards somebody with a gun? With your hands up, barefoot, in the middle of the street. See, when you add up all these factors, any single person who really cares about the vape pen, and really to a lesser effect the hands being raised, you're kind of a fool, and I'm sorry that you have any influence on society because you're the ones that are actually weakening society. You have an inability to look at this and be like, oh, this is the answer. Sometimes we make smart choices, sometimes we make stupid choices. When we look at what just happened, the man was barefoot in the middle of the street. One, is that a more normal behavior? Normal does not necessarily mean good, but it has some level of indicator. A person who has shoes in the middle of the street? Did you know that the sun's up? What temperature is that asphalt right now? I mean, like, here we go. Like, now we're starting to think for a second. Oh, a bunch of people online are saying that this is an unjustified shooting. Therefore, democracy rules? Like, we live in an objective universe. It's like cause and effect reality. Certain morals exist. It's interesting. It really is. Anyways, that's all I got. You enjoy. See you next time. Bye.